Investigative hearing on ceding of waterways to foreign private companies. Please stay tuned.
This is a live Channels television event.
Defense of the above petition slated for 23rd January 2008 at 2 p.m. in the meeting room 429, House of Representatives, for further investigative hearing. I am to convey the unavoidable absence of the Honorable Minister of Transport, who is away for a lecture at Chatham House, London, on an already accepted invitation on Nigerians' role in responding to the causes and consequences of maritime insecurity. Please accept, okay? S.A. Zaka, the Permanent Secretary. He hadn't enough respect to come to do that himself. So, Petitioner, I don't know what do we do from here.
Thank you very much. First of all, we want to still repeat that this is an issue of national security. It demands urgent and immediate actions. While we dilly-dally and go up and down, issues are still ongoing. This touches on the sovereignty of our nation. We have looked at all what the minister has been saying, the reports we have gathered, everything we can get on this contract. It shows that the Ministry of Transport wants to assume the role of the armed forces. It shows that NIMASA is going beyond their required mandates to encroach on what the Nigerian Navy is supposed to do. And in the light of the minister's submission accusing the Navy of incompetence, which I don't think the Navy has sufficiently answered that, and fortunately they are here and they should answer that here today. In that light, Mr. Chairman, we want to submit that this contract goes against the grain of the Constitution. This contract infringes upon the sovereignty of our nation, which vests...
Yeah, what we need to do, we can't do this in absence of the respondents. The last time I remember vividly, they claimed that the minister was attending the Federal Executive Council meeting, which turned out to be reality. I remember, as we said, no more Wednesdays. We took Tuesday. The NIMASA boss came in late and did mention of this meeting. I agree with you, and I agree with you entirely. It's of grave national importance as it borders on security. Nobody's going to accept that talk of inefficiency or not being able. We may consider that as a side talk by him. Of course, I've read the submission. They have ably refuted that. If you ask me to go and catch or cut an iroko, you don't give me a penknife. You give me a sewing machine and see whether I will cut it. But we're not going there now. What I want to agree is the letter did even suggest, what's the letter, please? Can I give you the letter? They never suggested the dates, and I do not think that they will remain at in London, the Chatham House, too long. Therefore, considering the importance and the urgency required of this matter, we must take a very, very short and last date. Because if you are not there, if you place this matter, if you make it secondary, it means you do not have any primary thing to say. It should be given the urgency it requires. Therefore, we'll take a very short and last date within which to conclude the matter, the issue at stake is the contract, and we made a specific order. Can we have the contractual paper so we can even know the content of the contract? One will not suggest that the contract also travels to Chatham with them. So we repeat again, clerk, write them. I want the letter to go to Mr. Tomorrow, that we want the contractual paper, even about this contract, so we can even understand the content and terms of the contract. Let's even see what is therein. It may be greater than what we're looking at. It may be lesser than. But let's see. Is it just handing over the waterways or what? Or is naval personnel also handed over entirely or what? So that we understand what it's all about. I don't know if you have anything to say.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Honorable E.J. Agbanyima. Mr. Chairman, I wanted to know, because in our last sitting, you gave a mandate that they should submit before this committee, and there's no such thing. There's no document submitted. Navy have already submitted their own. Mr. Chairman, I don't know what to say, because you can see that
Parties have all parties have made their submission. The Honorable Minister made his submission. But we now ask for further documents, the contract papers. The contract was documented, we believe. So now I want the contract papers, and I hope I will not be told it's restricted. So ask for the contract papers. On that section 88 and 89 of the Constitution, we're entitled to get the document, whatever and however it was made. So they've all submitted. We can as well conclude this matter now based on all the submissions. But we need to see the contract we're talking about, to see the content and terms. In a contract, it contains recitals, conditions, clauses, terms, costs, and how much and all whatnot. Then we'll be better placed to advise the House to say, this is what and what and what and what. You may think that it is mere ceding. It could be a permanent whatever. It could be less than that. So we need to see what, you may even think it's also coastal. It may be desert in nature. It may also, if that paper alone is what can tell us what is in it, and so on. You will be surprised that they're only guiding the waterways. They may even include Abuja. They may even include the grazing area. So the contract paper is only what would tell us. That's why we said otherwise. With all the submission made so far, we can write the report now and advise the House. But you need to know the extent of the contractual terms, obligations of parties. Except people think we dispense with that. No, we need to get that.
No. Sir, let me ask the Navy. Are you a privilege to the contract?
No, I disagree with that question.
That's the law. Unless you want them to go and start getting certified true copy of whatever they have. That's usually in absence of the originator. I think we'll probably address that if they don't now submit. Okay, so let's wait for them to submit.
Are you saying that they cannot? Are they privy to the contract? They can't submit nothing here. If they do, it's not acceptable. No, it's not for them to have. I disagree that. Any other question? Otherwise, we'll take a short date to when they will come.
Short date.
A very short date, hoping that the minister must have returned. Not too long.
10 days.
Not more than 2 weeks, please. It's a serious matter.
Mr. Chairman, sir, one very important question before we take the date. In view of the fact that this is a contract that should be executed with definite timelines. And from what we are seeing, I may not make total inference, but it is evident that the Minister of Transport is buying time. I don't know if the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Transport is here, but I don't know whether my eyes failed me or something, but I think I saw something like somebody registering from the Ministry of Transport in the hearing room up. That's
I saw him today.
429. Now, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Transport.
Are you sure some people are not in 429? I hope not. But I know I saw Nimasa, I saw the PAMSEC of Transport.
Yes. And the PAMSEC of Transport, who should be aware that there is a very, very sensitive public hearing as such, bothering on issues of national security, and in which his ministry is affected, is not here. That goes to tell us that there is more to it than we can see. It goes to tell us that perhaps the Minister of Transport...
More like what?
Of course, if the Minister of Transport cannot be here, can the PAMSEC not be here? Can someone not be here? This same scenario repeated itself the last time when a director came and he was asked, on what authority are you here? He said he was just here to announce that the minister could not come. Is there nobody? Are we saying now that the Ministry of Transport is grossly incompetent? Is there nobody in the Ministry of Transport that can come up and speak on this matter? Is it a contract for the Minister of Transport alone?